missed the attempt with a knee to try and deflect it in, but that's as close as Chelsea have come in the 20th minute.
Yes, a fantastic cross. I think Stas would have requested to push the cross in, and Morata was quite physical there, but O'Connor causes him a problem. Hazard gets it back across goal, and West Ham a little bit fortunate.
One of those dropping balls coming out of the sky from quite a height. And Hazard, whose right foot is the stronger of the two, isn't it, had to hit it with the left and dragged it across goal. It wasn't going in, but one of those where the shot becomes a cross. And Morata was inches away from making a contact, and any contact in that position, I think, would have been a goal for Chelsea. West Ham 1, Chelsea 0. Marko Arnautovic's goal, but a terrific team goal for West Ham, built down the right-hand side and finished by the left boot of Marko Arnautovic, has them in front. The team 19th in the Premier League. Here's Zappacosta for Chelsea though, as they come forward, and was he fouled by Masuaku, another Chelsea player who's gone to ground quite easily. He hasn't got the free kick from Anthony Taylor. We're looking at a replay now. Gary O'Neill, what do you make of it?
That's a yellow card for diving for me, that one. That one was a blatant dive. I mean, he knew he'd ran the ball out of play and just threw himself to the floor. Masuaku's made a really good start. Did well defensively there as well, so...
Yeah, he seems to be confident and good defensively. He's quick and sharp. He's got skill on the ball going forward as well. And he's exchanging passes with Lanzini over on the far side. Now Antonio's out there helping out West Ham, and he's won a throw in off Zappacosta over there. 22nd minute. West Ham 1, Chelsea 0 is the score. And West Ham are going to take this throw over on the far side, and Masuaku's got it. Now it's forward by Cresswell to Lanzini here for West Ham. Conte just got a foot in there for Chelsea to win them the ball back, but West Ham have got it again here on the halfway line. I think the amount of the ball they've had in the opening quarter of this match will be a big encouragement for them, but Chelsea are trying to counter with Zappacosta. Cresswell stayed firm though, resisted the challenge, albeit conceding a throw-in in the process. It's a decent game, Gary, isn't it?
Yeah, very good. I mean, this spell coming up now is going to be key. The intensity just starts to drop away now from that first 20 minutes.
Here's Conte driving forward for Chelsea towards the penalty area, checks and moves it wide to Zappacosta. Masuaku's the defender, 3 in the centre if he tries to cross. Masuaku stayed firm. Zappacosta just tried to drive right through the middle of him. In comes the cross now, it's over the top of Morata, headed by Zabaleta. Alonso picks it up, nice footwork, back to Fabregas, into the feet of Bakayoko, and then a good block by Cresswell, and it's away by Arnautovic, and it's away effectively. Here's Antonio, he's on his own against 2 defenders, and Christensen got to the ball, and Cahill got to Antonio a bit, and between them they mopped it up.
Yeah, good defending there from Chelsea. Real threat, Antonio on the break. That's the reason he's up there on his own. I'm not sure any of the other strikers in David Moyes' armoury could do the job that Antonio can do up there on his own.
Well, which is an indictment of the strikers, given how many of them there are, but here's Morata for Chelsea. 23 and a half minutes on the watch. Let us know where you're listening at. TalkSport Live is our Twitter handle, and we'll give you a shout in commentary on Arnautovic's goal. Divides the sides here, but Chelsea are trying to get away back into it. Here's Morata on the edge of the box. 25 yards out, he tried to clip a ball through for Zappacosta, but well, he's claiming Zappacosta could have continued his run, but the pass came a bit late, didn't it, really?
Yeah, Zappacosta was offside by the time Morata had spotted him, needed to get it in much earlier. Fantastic ball there, we're just seeing an earlier move there from Fabregas, threading through the eye of a needle.
Chibuzor says in the end it's going to be West Ham 1, Chelsea 2. A similar outcome to what happened this time last week. And Joseph says Palace got their first win of the season against Chelsea. Arnautovic had to wait for Chelsea to come along for his first goal. Joseph is in Lagos today. Hello, Joseph. At TalkSport Live is our Twitter handle. Paddy is listening in Accra in Ghana. Jerry from Nigeria thinks Chelsea are going to lose 2-1. Matt's in Pennsylvania, USA. Come on, you Irons, he says. And David's also listening in. with his son driving on his learner's permit. And there's an emoji which suggests it might be a wild ride. I'm not sure you should have revealed that, David, if he's in the car with you. It's not going to help him, is it? Anyway, West Ham 1, Chelsea 0. It's been pretty wild so far. We've enjoyed it. West Ham are giving as much as they are getting. And Antonio Conte is cutting a rather dispirited figure. Hands in pockets. Do you think he feels that his players are getting some rough justice from the referee because they've been throwing themselves on the floor left, right and centre? Or do you think he feels, come on lads, man up a bit?
I would guess he's probably thinking they're getting some rough justice. I would disagree. I think they've been a little bit too soft, and West Ham have gone and rolled them over physically so far. I think Chelsea will find a way, and they will come back into it as the game starts to settle. But in them early exchanges, you can tell West Ham were the hungrier and the more physical of the two sides.
And for David Moyes and the game plan to get that first goal, as you said before kick-off, is absolutely critical, and they've got it. They've got something to hold on to, something to build on here, and they are posing a threat on the counter as well. So it's a good game with a team that's in trouble much lower down
the right hand side for West Ham, trying to get past Christensen. Arnautovic does get past him after a bit of a battle, and then he turns him back inside. He needs a bit of help here, Arnautovic. Eventually gets his shot in as he's falling away, but it's blocked. But he did well again now, Arnautovic.
Yeah, keeping hold of the ball, isn't it, going forward. He desperately wanted to get that shot away, didn't he? And eventually he did, but it was blocked by Cahill. And it's going to be an interesting battle for Arnautovic. Whether it can last 90 minutes or so is up for debate, of course. But no, great work for Arnautovic, and he just needed some help, didn't he? But
yep.
I think West Ham were just a little bit too deep.
Yeah, he's a little bit isolated at times, Arnautovic, but he's playing well so far, and West Ham have the lead. 27 minutes played off Tube Studio commentary of the Premier League's early game. It's West Ham 1, Chelsea 0, and so far so good for the Hammers. Chelsea will, I'm sure, respond as the game goes on. Here's Morata. Morata has Alonso wide on the left hand side. And Alonso cuts back in field, rolls it back to Kante with a shot. Oh, it's not a bad effort, and Adrian has to scramble over to his left hand side to get a good save down to his left and palm it behind for a corner. It looked like it was going wide, Paul, but in the end Adrian tips it round the post.
Absolutely, yeah, it did look like, but then all of a sudden it dipped, didn't it, and curled. It might still have been going wide, you know, but he didn't know that, did Adrian, and it was a good save.
Corner for Chelsea on the right hand side. I think it'll be Fabregas will take it. It's a low one in towards Alonso. It's a worked corner, goes back out to Cahill on the edge of the area. Now the shot comes in from distance, another good save from Adrian. It falls to Morata. Can Morata get the rebound? I think Morata actually might have been offside, and the flag goes up eventually, but Chelsea work the short corner and they force Adrian into action again.
Yep, good work again. N'Golo Kante getting the ball back. Was it Zappacosta?
I think it was, you know, Paul, who fired it in, yeah.
He scored one in the Champions League, an absolute worldie at the start of the season, but he's not got the
well, that was a
score sheet. Yeah, it looked fit, and just tucked in very nearly into the post. Again, another good save from Adrian, just proving while he's in the starting 11 he's going to try and keep his place in that. And yeah, good work from him. That's two good saves in the past minute or so.
Yeah, and West Ham's lead just about intact because Chelsea are now beginning to try and get themselves back into the match. Two decent saves from the West Ham goalkeeper there, as Chelsea are trying to draw themselves level as we edge up towards the half an hour mark. West Ham 1, Chelsea 0, and it is a dangerous game that West Ham might be playing if they are going to try and invite the pressure on. I don't think necessarily they are. I think it's just the fact that Chelsea are responding to being behind, as if they can, in touch with Manchester City and Manchester United above them, and obviously, you know, Chelsea need the points just as well as West Ham do, and Chelsea are now, I would say, the last 4 or 5 minutes beginning to dominate as N'Golo Kante flicks it through looking for Morata. West Ham win it back, but it's only briefly, and now Hazard has it again. He's becoming more and more influential, and now Bakayoko to Alonso. Alonso closed down quickly by Lanzini, but he rolls it into Kante. It's all a bit congested in midfield, to be honest, but Chelsea are beginning to find some spaces as the ball is played through by Christensen, and Lanzini gets there just to try and get a foot onto it. In the end, that diverts it back towards Adrian, who has to scramble away to his right hand side to just about keep it in play, but he can only stretch and put it out for a Chelsea throw-in down with the almost by the corner flag, and Alonso will take it back to Cahill. Half an hour gone, Paul, and you worry about West Ham at the minute because Chelsea are on top.
Yeah, they've got into their shell, haven't they? They really have at times. They're trying to press, but Chelsea look good coming forward. And at the minute, it's only a matter of time, isn't it, you feel?
It seems that way at the moment with Kante and now Hazard and Bakayoko. One-touch stuff from Chelsea. Hazard, edge of the area to Fabregas. He just slips as he thought about maybe the shot there, I think, Fabregas, and the move breaks down. But the problem for West Ham at the minute is they're getting it temporarily. They're launching it forward, looking for Antonio to hold it up, and he's not able to hold it up, and Chelsea are just going to come back at them. Yeah,
I think they've got the wrong person then up front. They should be Arnautovic, really. He seems the better hold-up man, doesn't he? So
Morata for Chelsea now, deep again, the forward. He wins it back well, though, and Hazard now flicks it through to Bakayoko, and back to Hazard. Again, congested, edge of the area. Chelsea trying to work it, and Zappacosta gets a cross in. As Cresswell stands his ground, comes off West Ham defender's back, throw into the visitors. The pressure beginning to grow on West Ham, and now Hazard, centre field, rolls it into Bakayoko. Bakayoko back to Fabregas, and now Kante. Chelsea dominating things at the minute. Alonso with the cross in towards where Fabregas was. Good header away there by Noble, back defending, and in fact Noble is adjudged to have been fouled by Fabregas, and that will give West Ham a bit of respite.
It will, won't it? Yeah, it's been just dominating possession. There's Billy McKinley makes his way up to have a word with David Moyes about something that he spotted, and well, it was a little bit of a breather. Yeah, good work from Noble. I know he got fouled, but he made sure that he stayed down, got the free kick, chance to have a break, and well, there's some Chelsea players here who hot water bottles and that then. Oh, come on.
Well, yeah, they like to keep warm, these footballers, don't they? Is it Bashuai there? I couldn't work out exactly who it was, but yeah, they're very cold, aren't they?
Yeah.
On the bench.
I suppose if they're not warm and they're just sat there
watching.
Keep
warm, yeah. They often have blankets on them. I mean, the temperatures are low at the moment. Obviously, it's I don't want to say unseasonably warm, cold, because we are in December, of course. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
We don't get temperatures like this all that often.
No, it's usually sort of January, February, isn't it, when it drops? So,
but yeah, a bit of snow around in the UK at the moment, and as Paul said earlier on, and as I said myself, that there's quite a bit of snow in the forecast for tomorrow, and it could mean a few early reports that maybe there's concerns that the two big games tomorrow, the Liverpool derby and the Manchester derby, could be under threat, but it's very early days to suggest that they're going to be off at the minute. We'll have to wait and see. Here's Morata. He comes deep again and plays the ball out onto the right hand side, and Zappacosta hangs over across. Header from Morata. He can't quite get the purchase on it though, and it drifts wide of the post, but he did connect just about Morata, and if you think that he's going to get that on target, Paul, that's an opportunity for Chelsea.
Yeah, I think the majority of Morata's goals have come from headers this season, and that was set up nicely for him. He got in between the two defenders, and this time he couldn't target it wide, but you don't give him too much of an opportunity. He is a good header of the ball. Yeah,
and that was a chance for him. He's settled into life quickly, hasn't he, Morata?
I like him.
There was a few people maybe doubting that he was going to work for him in the Premier League, because maybe his style wasn't necessarily suited to him, but he's proven to be up to the task, Morata, and been one of the signings of the summer really for me, because in terms of the goals he's got and the expectation levels, Morata has done very well for Chelsea. Here come West Ham with what is an increasingly rare attack for them down the left hand side, but they lose possession. Now Chelsea come forward and maybe have a bit of a counter here with Hazard, and now N'Golo Kante. He's quickly closed down but gets it off to Alonso. Alonso's got support from Hazard again. Hazard goes past one challenge. Hazard, edge of the area, feeds it out to Kante. Kante thought about a cross, I think, first time, but opts to go back on his right foot, and now Hazard has it again. Chelsea for the last 10 minutes have really dominated proceedings at the London Stadium, but they're still behind. West Ham lead by a goal to nil. Off Tube Studio commentary as Christensen has it for Chelsea, rolls it out to Zappacosta. I get the feeling, Paul, this might now, if it stays as it is, be the pattern of the match.
Yeah.
And it's a worry for West Ham if they do play like this, because Chelsea are going to carve out chances.
Yeah, they get deeper and deeper and deeper, and they've dropped to a 5, haven't they now, as you can see in defence, which is a worry, because that just allows Chelsea to play, and Hazard he's got to work a way to get through, but you need to just here.
Oh yeah, it's flicked through towards Hazard. It might just fall for Morata. It does fall for Morata, who pokes at the ball, but it goes over the bar. Some of the West Ham defenders want a free kick there from maybe Morata's high foot. Let's look at the replay. They work it quite well. Fabregas chips it through, looking for Hazard. Good defending from Ogbonna back there, and then Winston Reid and Cresswell think that maybe Morata has gone in a little bit over the top there, but I don't think there's an awful lot in that. He's going for the ball, isn't he?
Yeah, I just think that it was a ball sort of waist height that Morata and Winston Reid were going for, and Winston Reid came off the worst, I think, in that one. I don't think it was anything intentional. He's just going for the ball.
Yeah, I think it was a fair
10 minutes to half time
on the edge
still
of the 6-yard box.
Did Morata do anything wrong here? Because the West Ham players are quite annoyed about his challenge.
I don't think so. I mean, from the angle we see, it looks like Morata gets his toe to the ball and then Reid boots his foot underneath. I think they both seem to get there at roughly the same time. I don't think there's anything in that really. Morata has to go for that. There's a chance of a goal. I wouldn't be surprised to see some changes from Conte, at half time. I think if it continues the way it goes, they're going to have to introduce some more attacking players. I've been terribly impressed with Zappacosta. I would maybe think Moses slightly more attacking. It just looks like West Ham are going to cope. Well, there's a long way to go, of course, and they're going to tire, but it looks like at the minute West Ham's plan is working fairly well.
I'm sure our listeners in Nigeria would echo those sentiments and would enjoy hearing Victor Moses' contribution in the second half, maybe. Meantime, though, West Ham have got themselves a free kick. Fabregas has fouled Antonio. And Antonio, again, just getting into a good position to jump for the ball, and Fabregas, getting levered underneath it, just threw an arm back, and he seems to have cut the lip of Michail Antonio. 9 minutes to half time. West Ham are a goal up here, seeking their first win under David Moyes. Diagonal ball to the back post where Reid is waiting. He wins the header. Bakayoko left it, or missed it, and it came to Arnautovic, but he was going away from goal. And West Ham have it back near halfway. Zabaleta lifted it towards Antonio, away by Alonso. Ponte got in there, ricochets to the far side. Oh, Masuaku's picked it up well, and then he drives the shot for goal, but rather scrubbed it, and it went along the ground and wide, and he's looking heavenwards as if to suggest that was a pretty decent shooting chance.
Yeah, it's a brilliant first touch, because he's running full pelt to beat Zappacosta to that ball, and then he kills it so softly with his first touch. Fantastic.
He's having a good game, Artur Masuaku, and he's one of several in claret and blue. Here's Morata for Chelsea as they move into the West Ham half. Just for a second there was a bit of space because West Ham looked to try and get back behind the ball, but Chelsea haven't moved it quickly enough, and I think there's going to be the massed ranks to try and penetrate again. But here's Bakayoko, his shot a bit deflected, and it was a spinning ball, and Adrian was a little flat-footed, and it spun just past the post, and the referee has seen the deflection and has said corner kick. Fabregas is going to take it, second corner, and he curls it in. Adrian is coming and gets a bit of a flap on the ball, leaves about 3 players on the ground as he does so. It was good enough, just.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you want from your goalie. He has to come and take people out in the process, fair enough, and Nobes did well to manage to get on the second ball and hook it clear.
Here is Fabregas down the line to Marcos Alonso, into Morata, had a little look to see where the defender was. It's Ogbonna. He couldn't shake him off, goes back to Azpilicueta, and the West Ham lines are evident again. Here's Zappacosta. Can Chelsea break them down this time? Trailing 1-0. They're struggling to penetrate. Zappacosta and Azpilicueta exchange passes. Back to Christensen. Now the near side. Cahill. Bit of space. He can move forward. Last 5 minutes, Chelsea have had 87% of the ball, but they haven't done anything with it. Cahill went for the diagonal ball in himself, and it went out for a goal kick. And Conte barked in fury. What are Chelsea not doing here in possession that they could be doing?
Firstly, I think West Ham are doing fantastically well to make it as difficult as they are. And just a couple of times, like when you said there, Chelsea, they had a bit of space, and then Morata took a little while to sort his feet out, and West Ham then regained their shape. Little things like that where you need to make sure you're moving the ball quick enough when West Ham are open to take advantage of it. Antonio
through for Arnautovic. He's offside, not by much. He was on the far side, the left, but the flag went up swiftly, and Chelsea have themselves a free kick. That first touch is vital, isn't it? Particularly when the players around you are so good. It can mean all the difference.
Yeah, just to keep the move flowing, to keep the ball moving forward as quickly as you can.
Masuaku's first touch has impressed us today. There's a pass down the line towards Antonio, and Courtois elected to come to the edge of his box and not pick the ball up, but clear it behind for a corner. He maybe felt he was coming out quickly enough that he couldn't pick it up and stay within his penalty box.
I think even he was surprised by how quick Antonio was there. Made up a good 3 or 4 yards there on Christensen.
I'm surprised at Courtois' decision anyway. Further evidence that Antonio is destabilising Chelsea somewhat. And there's a corner. Noble is standing in front of the goalkeeper, Courtois. Lanzini is going to take the corner. He whips in a dangerous ball. Azpilicueta cleared it initially, but it's been played back in. Christensen away a second time. Masuaku again controls it beautifully near halfway and drives forward with it. And now finds Lanzini again. Masuaku takes it again on the half turn, threatening to get his cross in. Wins a corner for West Ham. He had no right to do that well, really.
I mean, you'd be criticising him if he was dribbling with it like that in dangerous areas and losing it, but he's managing to keep it every single time. He's having a fantastic game.
4 minutes to half time. West Ham 1 up and on the front foot here. Lanzini a high ball, but that was meat and drink for Courtois, who bowls it out immediately to Azar. It's a brilliant touch infield to Conte, but he turned back into trouble. And here's Noble now for West Ham, trying to win the free kick. He goes down, referee plays advantage. Arnautovic running onto it. Lanzini now just outside the box. Little step over, moves into the penalty area and across it. He's going away from goal. And as Azpilicueta shepherded him really into that blind alley and then nicked the ball away. And Chelsea have got it. And they're trying to counter. West Ham have plenty of defenders back. Chelsea have never really had an overload of any description. Here is Azar on the left-hand side, wide to Alonso. It's 3 claret and blue shirts in front of him, but they all went the other way, and Alonso crossed, and it was Reed who flicked the header away in front of Morata. And Masuaku, who's now thinking about more tricks and flicks, but runs the ball out of play on the far side. West Ham just lost a little bit of concentration there as Alonso was allowed to cross with more time and space than they would like. But West Ham are still in front with Arnautovic's goal. Here's Azpilicueta back into the old pattern here with West Ham behind the ball. Noble sharply into Conte. Fabregas collected the rebound, Noble. And now looks to reverse the ball through for Conte, but Lanzini was there and Conte fouled him, and it's a West Ham free kick.
Yeah, you see there West Ham very, very compact. Fabregas trying to squeeze balls between the lines, and Lanzini and Noble managing to cut off the angle. So, fascinating battle. I mean, I would expect the man we see there, Conte, to make some changes, whether it be personnel, whether it be tactically. I think Chelsea need to change something here. West Ham's tactics are definitely coming out on top so far.
Conte is unshaven, he's got wrinkles around the eyes. He looks like a man who hasn't slept, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I mean, they've been doing really well. I mean, they've gone behind a few times recently, haven't they? And they've managed to come back. This is going to be a tough ask. Sometimes easier at home when you've got the fans on your side, but going behind away from home in the Premier League is never easy to overcome against anybody.
Long clearance by Courtois, high up over halfway. Morata couldn't get on it for Chelsea though. Obiang came in for West Ham. Arnautovic took it on the spin for the Hammers. He is threatening every time he gets on it. He's working industriously for West Ham, but Chelsea move it down the left to Azar. He tried the through ball, it comes back for West Ham though, and Arnautovic into the centre for Noble, and well read by Azpilicueta, who saw the pass was going out to Antonio, but his slide fell back to a claret and blue shirt. And here's Masuaku down the left hand side, and his confidence is up, and Masuaku crossing early wins another corner for West Ham, and you can hear how good the atmosphere is at the London Stadium, how positive it is.
Fantastic opportunity for West Ham here, right on the stroke of half time, to put the ball in the Chelsea box and test them, see if they can go in 2 up.
Would they dare get a second? Lanzini is taking his time on the long walk across, perhaps intending for it to be the last play of the first half. 44-15 on the watch. Arnautovic is by the goalkeeper this time, so is Noble. In it comes Morata with the header away at the near post area. Lanzini took it, and he's got the ball back again on the far side, the little Argentine. took it sharply. Now Noble collects, left corner of the box. Noble feints this way and that, crosses, Cahill heads away. Back in Ogbonna. Arnautovic backing into his man, finds room to shoot, but straight at Courtois. Well, West Ham are still threatening to score, even though Chelsea have got the bulk of the ball. Half-time approaching, 1-0 to West Ham. And Chelsea with the possession on halfway. There can't be much added time here. Long ball over the top towards Azar, but a high ball's not ideal for him. And through it goes to Adrian. 2 minutes is the call. You've advocated the Moses for Zappacosta change for Chelsea. What would be David Moyes' message to his players at half-time?
Keep going as long as you can. Keep your legs going, and if I need to make a change because any of you are tired, I will do so. Don't leave anything in the tank. Don't try and save anything. Give all you've got right now, and we'll change it if we have to, I would guess would be the message from David Moyes. I mean, the key is they're still threatening as well. At Man City, they were sat there and they were offering no sort of counter punch, whereas Chelsea can't throw everybody forward because there is still that threat from West Ham. So they're doing fantastic at the moment.
That's the voice of former West Ham player Gary O'Neill with us here on Premier League Live today. Gary's still a professional player with Bristol City in the Championship, going so well. And recovering from injury, we hope soon, Gary. Last minute here of the two added on at the end of the first half. West Ham 1, Chelsea 0. Up towards Antonio it goes. Again, he's strong enough. Holds off Azpilicueta. Keeps the ball for West Ham. Masuaku advances. A lovely trick to get away from Fabregas. He's on fire, Masuaku. Thought for a second he was going to take a second and a third on and beat them all, but he elected to just rein in those ambitions. Here's Antonio, back to Masuaku. He's turned into Maradona at times in this half. Here he is once more. I mean, if he plays many more games like this, he's going to get cult hero status, Masuaku. Well, he might end up playing for Barcelona the way he's going. Oh, a double drag back this time. Beats his man and gets it to Lanzini, who gets away from Conte. Lanzini to the edge of the box. Wide to Noble. They wouldn't dare score a goal after this move, would they? Here's Lanzini again, turning away from goal. Tried to find Zabaleta. Away by Alonso. The half-time whistle goes with West Ham on top. And we haven't said that too many times this season. Not just that, they're on top against Chelsea, and they lead. Marco Arnautovic with his first goal for the club. West Ham 1, Chelsea 0 is the half-time score. Analysis to come from Gary O'Neill. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Premier League football is a truly global game, and TalkSport is the global audio partner of the Barclays Premier League.
It's a massive goal!
With live commentary of all 380 matches this season, available at TalkSport.com every weekend.
What a goal! What a fantastic strike!
The event horizon of world-class football. Visit TalkSport.com to find out more.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered.
It's out on the Torres Coutinho, getting onto the right foot, going for goal! Stunning strike from Philippe Coutinho! How often do we say that? He's produced another one from out of the top drawer, and Liverpool lead at St James's Park.
TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live.
Wriggles free and then back heels free. Iwobi! Lovely goal. And surely game over now. Iwobi with a second to maybe put Brighton out of their misery.
Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Will he go it alone? Gets the cross in searching, and it's 1-0! It was Bakary Sakho on the far post, and listen to the reaction here at the London Stadium.
Hear goals as they go in from around the grounds during our featured commentary match.
It's going to be Holebas to deliver. He needs to deliver well. It's to the far post. It's up in the air, and it's a goal! The last action of the first half.
Every game is covered.
Now here's Hendrick. Lovely first touch. 1-0 Burnley. Terrifically crafted goal from the visitors. Jeff Hendrick kept a cool Liverpool had to finish it and claim his first of the season.
Get involved in debates, ask in-game questions to our commentary team, and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Shaqiri to Peters, now dribble Monty, saved by Foster, and almighty scramble, and Crouch scores at the end for Stoke City. They have regained the lead.
This is Premier League Live.
Herrera to Martial, Martial to Lukaku, cannot miss, does not miss, and scores again.
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league. Premier League Live, brought to you by TalkSport Live.
The TalkSport £1 million predictor game involves the two things in life you love the most:
Football and money.
Exactly predict 10 or more Premier League scores and win £1 million sterling.
The TalkSport £1 million predictor game.
Register now at talksport.com/predictor and play for free throughout the season. Win £1 million sterling.
£1 million.
Players must be 18 or over. See talksport.com/predictor for full conditions.
The first derby of three big derbies this weekend, and this one is not going with the form book. West Ham are leading Chelsea at half-time, and these are the key moments so far. Here's Zabaleta for West Ham, neatly finding Antonio and into Arnautovic on the edge of the penalty box. Lanzini back to Arnautovic, he's inside the box! There is his first goal for West Ham! Arnautovic took it beautifully! He curled it low past Courtois! Maybe a more hopeful goal than West Ham have scored at any point this season. They take the lead against Chelsea. It's West Ham 1, Chelsea 0.
Fantastic goal, some fantastic build-up as well. You see Lanzini and Arnautovic, the two key players linking up well, and it's a fantastic finish with his left foot.
It's Bakayoko, three in the centre for the tall Frenchman. Now Azar, loads of West Ham defenders, a whole curtain of claret and blue, but it is exchanged to the right-hand side. It's whipped in, Morata went for the header. Ogbonna defended it well. Azar drives it across, and Morata missed the attempt with a knee to try and deflect it in, but that's as close as Chelsea have come in the 20th minute.
Yes, a fantastic cross. I think Saz requested a push to cross in, and Morata was quite physical there, but Ogbonna causes him a problem. Hazard gets it back across goal, and West Ham a little bit fortunate.
Wide to Alonso as Chelsea come forward. Alonso dummies and Zabaleta buys it. Back to Conte on the edge of the box. He shoots and Adrian just gets there. It may have been going wide from Conte, but it was curling back in. They'll get a corner.
Yeah, it looked like it was going wide to me, but Adrian obviously not sure, didn't want to take any chances. Makes a good save, manages to get it round the post rather than back into the dangerous area.
Yeah, and as a result of all that, it's West Ham 1, Chelsea 0 at half-time. West Ham 33% possession, Chelsea 67 obviously. West Ham 4 attempts to Chelsea's 9, but both teams 2 on target. Listening to those highlights, Gary O'Neill, expert analyst today, former West Ham player. What are your reflections on the first 45 minutes, given a couple of minutes to rest and think? I mean, David Moyes is going to be utterly delighted, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't think it could have gone any better for David Moyes. I think it would have gone exactly how he'd have dreamt it to go with the tactics he set out. I was actually very impressed. I didn't think he'd be as adventurous as he was. I thought he'd be more like he was last weekend at Man City. They've managed to engage Chelsea slightly higher at certain times. And Chelsea, you're looking for a lot more from them. You know, the champions of England, you're looking for them to cause West Ham more problems than they have. So the second half will be very intriguing to see if there's any changes tactically from Chelsea. I'm sure West Ham will leave it the same, and the issue that West Ham may have is as they tire, they start to get a little bit deeper, and Chelsea start to gain even more territory. But with Antonio, Arnautovic and Lanzini on the break, they're still holding that threat at the end of the second.
Yes, and we've mentioned the eye-catching skills of Masuaku, but I guess you'd say that Antonio's contribution has been more key to the way that West Ham have been able to play.
Yeah, we mentioned it earlier that if they're going to play one up front and he's going to be as isolated as he is, there's no other forward at West Ham that could do that job. You know, it doesn't suit Hernandez, it doesn't suit Andy Carroll. You need to be physical and you need to have legs if you're going to play up front on your own. So Antonio has both of those in abundance.
How long can he last?
I mean, he's a fit boy. I think he'll see out the majority of it. Whether David Moyes changes it because he wants to keep a little bit of freshness up there, that is another option. But I think he'll be keen to leave Antonio up there as long as he can.
How well does it speak of the other 4 forwards that none of them can do the job that the manager wants to do at the moment?
It is a very specialist job in fairness, you know, to lead the line in a team that's conceding as much ground as West Ham are is a very tough job. Jamie Vardy can probably do it because of his legs. I mean, you need legs, but you need to be physical enough to be able to get hold of it as well. So it is a very, very tough job. So Antonio's doing it very well.
Andre Ayew and Diafra Sakho are also on the bench for West Ham. Antonio Conte, kind of rather tired, rather drained figure during that first, although he's still on his feet pointing instructions. Who's the most likely to come off first for Chelsea, and who's the most likely to be thrown on to try and make a difference?
Well, I think sort of performance and tactics wise, you look at how well Masuaku's done. I mean, he's dealt with Zappacosta no problem at all. So I would personally look to change that. I would probably put Victor Moses on, maybe make Masuaku defend a bit more. I mean, he's had it all his own way so far. And then they've got an abundance of talent. I mean, he could throw Willian on. It's whether he goes like for like, or whether he takes a defender off and feels he doesn't need all of those defenders at the moment.
Okay, West Ham 1, Chelsea 0 is the half-time score. Our featured game at 3, another good one. Tottenham against Stoke. Let's hear from the two managers.
When the opponent came to play against us on Wembley, it's a massive, or it's a historic day, moment, because for many clubs it's so difficult to achieve or to reach to play on Wembley. And today that is easy because you play in Premier League. That is a massive motivation for the opponent, and that is always an extra share that not only you are competing with the opponent, if not with massive motivation too, no? And that extra share that always the team put in a moment like when you are playing in this type of stadium.
Teams may be frustrating them, and they find it more difficult to break teams down, and they're not possibly free-flowing as they have been in the past in certain games. Certainly last year when we always went up against them, it was always the most difficult game we felt, going up against Spurs for the most part. If you take Man City, we've gone up about 2 or 3 levels this year. If you look at all the other top teams, for the most part we've always done okay with them, but when we've gone up against Spurs, it's always a team that's causes more problems. It felt anyway from our point of view, they were the team that gave us more problems than maybe the other top 6.
Mark Hughes of Stoke City, his side go to Wembley to face Tottenham Hotspur today. Spurs without a win in 4 Premier League games. They're 10 points behind Man United, let alone City, who are 18 points ahead of them. Mark Hughes' side looking to win back-to-back games for the first time since January. But they are 13th at the moment, 6 points clear of danger. That's our featured game at 3 today with Adam Bridge and Gary O'Reilly, the ex-Spurs man, and they'll bring you goals too from Burnley, Watford, Palace, Bournemouth, Huddersfield, Brighton and Swansea, West Brom. Newcastle, Leicester is the game at 5:30 today. When we come back, second half of West Ham, Chelsea, and West Ham lead by 1-0. You are listening to Premier League Live.
Premier League football is a truly global game, and TalkSport is the global audio partner of the Barclays Premier League.
It's a massive goal!
With live commentary of all 380 matches this season, available at TalkSport.com every weekend.
What a goal! What a fantastic strike!
The event horizon of world-class football. Visit TalkSport.com to find out more.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered.
There's Coutinho for Liverpool towards the back post, and it's headed into the net by Mohamed Salah. Bang on, 15 minutes, Liverpool have the lead. It's been an end-to-end few minutes.
TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live.
The Spurs play it through for Ali. He's got Kane in the centre and he scores! The ball through the channel for Dele Alli, and Harry Kane is in there to head the cross home.
Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Mark Stevens knotted across the box, and it's a wonderful finish from Tom Ahmed. to send the home fans wild with delight.
Hear goals as they go in from around the grounds during our featured commentary match.
Alexandre Lacazette has a chance for his and Arsenal's second of the night, and he does find the bottom corner with precision and power and brilliance.
Every game is covered.
Takes his way into the box, maybe a dump, toss to Clara! Oh, what a wonderful goal! An absolute screamer by the substitute, Fabian Delph.
Get involved in debates, ask in-game questions to our commentary team, and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Decent ball in Lukaku, great save, follow-up in. They have the lead already, 19 minutes in, nothing Fraser Forster could do. The decent work done by Ashley Young, it's a wonderful cross, and Manchester United have the lead.
This is Premier League Live.
Morata's in the box, he got straight round Darren Fletcher, and what a great goal that is from Alvaro Morata. He was absolutely unstoppable there.
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league. Premier League Live, brought to you by TalkSport Live.
The TalkSport £1 million predictor game involves the two things in life you love the most:
Football and money.
Exactly predict 10 or more Premier League scores and win £1 million sterling.
The TalkSport £1 million predictor game.
Register now at talksport.com/predictor and play for free throughout the season. Win £1 million sterling.
£1 million.
Players must be 18 or over. See talksport.com/predictor for full conditions.
Great to have you with us for TalkSport's coverage of West Ham United against Chelsea from the London Stadium. I'm your host, Richard Connolly, and alongside me is the current Bristol City midfielder, once of Middlesbrough, Portsmouth and West Ham. Gary O'Neill is here, and you are listening to Premier League Live. Just waiting for the players to come out for the start of the second half. Still plenty of blue sky up above, some wispy white cloud, but it's a clear day. This time of year that means it's cold. Lots of hats and gloves and scarves in the crowd, and hot coffee, the kind of hot coffee and hot chocolate that was spilled all over the place when Arnautovic went rushing towards the crowd after scoring that goal in the 6th minute of the game. It's the goal that still divides the sides. Players coming out, as you can hear, to some fanfare. Super goal it was too from West Ham. Actually, with the kind of speed of movement and the accuracy of passing and the quality of finish, the kind of goal that we're used to seeing a player like Eden Hazard score, Gary O'Neill, but it was Marko Arnautovic to get off the mark. And his performance has generally been good. It's been energetic, it's been creative. But before you comment on that, we are seeing Pedro take off his training top, so it looks like he's going to come on for the start of the second half. Can you see the logic in that?
Well, he's a fantastic player, so there's some logic to start with.
There is that.
He offers another goal for it. It'd be interesting to see who they take off for him. Whether, I would guess it would be a slightly more defensive player, would be my guessing.
Well, the electronic board is about to be held up, and we'll know the same time you do. So let's see how this affects Chelsea's game plan. But the change is clear. The Spain international Pedro, man who's won pretty much all there is to win in football: World Cup, European Championships, Spanish Liga, Champions League, Club World Cup, Premier League. It's a reasonable career. There's plenty of reasons for him to come on at half-time, I think we can suggest. Timothy Bakayoko is the player who is being replaced. Pedro comes on, slaps hands with Cesc Fabregas, long-time partners in crime. And we are set for the start of the second half. There we go. There's the whistle. The bubbles are still floating across the London Stadium as play resumes with West Ham in front by 1-0. They've taken just 1 point from 12 under David Moyes so far. This would be their biggest win of the season by a considerable distance. And ahead of another home game against Arsenal midweek. And the Christmas period, which everybody always says, and of course it is so vital because so many games come so quickly. This would be absolutely monstrous for West Ham. But it's by no means achieved yet. We saw Chelsea respond, having gone a goal down last week against Newcastle. Can they do so here? West Ham long throw at the start of the second half. Antonio dried the ball on his shirt, but didn't get it dry enough, and it slipped out of his hands again, as it did at the start of the first half, as I recall. And Chelsea cleared it easily enough. And Antonio's given the ball to Masuaku for the throw-in. Masuaku's got gloves on, but it didn't slip out of the gloves. Chelsea have won it back in the right-back area, and it's cleared towards Morata, nearing halfway. A flick on by Hazard, but it didn't give Pedro much of a chance to win the ball. Hacked out by West Ham. So, teams at the start of the second half, and Chelsea are in white today with blue numbers and blue trim and blue socks, but white shirts and shorts, and they're going from left to right second half. West Ham claret and blue shirts, white shorts, white socks. West Ham, Adrian in goal. It's a back five broadly, although Masuaku on the left has played quite far up the field at times, which has been good for West Ham. Zabaleta, Ogbonna, Reed, Cresswell, Masuaku, Noble, Obiang, Lanzini in the middle. Arnautovic, the closest man to Antonio, who's the real focal point of the attack. Zappacosta can't get down the right there for Chelsea, and it's a goal kick to West Ham. Chelsea, Courtois in goal. A back three as Piliqueta, Christensen and Cahill, who is their captain. Noble is the West Ham skipper. Wide position, Zappacosta and Alonso. Conte and Fabregas now joined by Pedro in the midfield for Chelsea, and Hazard playing off Morata up front. Gary O'Neill is our expert analyst. He's been suggesting for some time that Antonio Conte might have a glance in Victor Moses' direction, but no sign of the Nigeria international just yet. Forward go West Ham towards Arnautovic, but nodded away by Azpilicueta, and Conte takes it and rolls away from Noble very effectively, and Chelsea have the possession. Here is Pedro crossing the halfway line. He's got Alonso outside him. Greater Spanish influence here for Chelsea in the second half. Conte wide to Alonso again. Tall figure Alonso, playing at left wing back. He's got forward on plenty of occasions. Conte slips one through. Hazard, lovely back heel. Fabregas back to Hazard, inviting him to run onto it. West Ham close the door. Wide it goes to Zappacosta. Back to Hazard, corner of the box. Tight spot, three defenders around him. He's beaten two. Dinks it back to Conte. Conte jabs it wide to Zappacosta. His curling cross. Alonso's attacking it. Zabaleta away. Pedro on the volley, but difficult from there. He was standing really and had to help it with the instep, and it went well wide.
Yeah, tough skill that one when it's dropping out the sky from that high. Good move from Chelsea though, as you see. Hazard key to it again, getting him the ball in very tight areas, managing to use his quick feet, commit defenders. So a positive start to the first half from Chelsea, second half from Chelsea. Sorry.
At TalkSport Live is our Twitter handle. Jay Olayinka was on there in the first half actually, saying Bakayoko has been utterly pedestrian. I wonder why he gets the nod today from Lagos. So good call, Jay. He was the player who came off at half time. Here's Hazard for Chelsea down the left side of the penalty area. Checks, pulls it back. Conte from distance, thought about the shot. Antonio back defending for West Ham, so everybody's back now. Azpilicueta with the ball in. Alonso tried to attack it. Reed with a good header. Half away West Ham. Conte collects on the edge. Here is Pedro again now. Chelsea trying to get ahead of steam up. 1-0 down. In it goes to Fabregas. Takes it away from goal. Pulls it back. Oh, it nearly came for Zappacosta. Well done, Aaron Cresswell, who got it away.
Yeah, did fantastic there. Fabregas to pull it back as far as he did. Looked like he was running out of room, and good tackle from Cresswell to get the ball clear for a throw-in.
Yeah, there was a surprising angle on that pass from Fabregas all of a sudden. But Cresswell was the quickest to respond. Now the referee is rather ostentatiously here pointing to the watch, as if to say to the West Ham fans there, if you keep hold of the ball, I'm going to stop the watch and add some time on. Oh, dreadful pass there by Cahill. He's given it straight to Antonio. He's got Arnautovic running through the centre, and he delayed, and Arnautovic is offside. Courtois has made the save, but the flag was up, and Arnautovic is frustrated, but I think the pass came a little too late.
Yeah, there was nothing Arnautovic could do about it. He was running at full pace, and he had to stay in front of the defender. He just needed Antonio to time the pass slightly better than he did.
Oh, half a second quicker from Antonio there, and that would have been a massive chance for West Ham. And Gary Cahill is a relieved man, having given that ball away in a poor position. 6th minute of the second half. West Ham are still in front here. Arnautovic's goal, but he's in the mood for more. Hazard's got it wide on the left-hand side for Chelsea. West Ham are all back behind the ball, and Hazard's cross is a poor one. But Masuaku tried to dribble his way out there, and he got caught. Fabregas reverse pass towards Morata. Ogbonna was too quick, and Noble elects to go back to his goalkeeper rather than testing Antonio's durability up front. Actually, the goalkeeper's clearance, Adrian's, was a poor one, and Chelsea have got it back. Antonio's pulling his socks up as if he's a bit weary for West Ham, and then Azpilicueta plays another poor diagonal ball forward for Chelsea, and West Ham get that away with ease. Cahill now under pressure from Lanzini, and he just knocks him over illegally, but the ref says okay, it's gone out anyway. Throw in, play on, and that allows Chelsea through Pedro to bring it forward, and Pedro tried to accelerate beyond Obiang. Here's Hazard on the edge, just taking a touch and turning away from Reed. Here's Zappacosta. He crosses the header from Fabregas. He didn't get full contact on it, and it hit Ogbonna, and Noble clears for West Ham. Up to Antonio. Back to Masuaku. Accelerates. Conte gets a clean tackle in, and then Antonio lifts it down the line, but out of play. Chelsea throw in.
Yeah, pressure just starting to build. Chelsea started much better this half, causing West Ham some problems, getting a few overloads. Fabregas there with header, good block from Ogbonna in the end.
7 minutes played in the second half. Chelsea have only lost 2 of the last 22 Premier League meetings with West Ham. Nearly got that through to Morata, but the offside flag was up on the near side. It's the red and yellow checked flag. We're just going to look at a replay here of the Antonio pass to Arnautovic just to confirm that he was offside. I thought he was, and the replay shows it was a good decision.
Yeah, split second minute.
And actually the assistant referee had to be very quick because Cahill gave the ball away in an unexpected position, and the assistant had to show pretty good pace because, as you said, Arnautovic was at full pelt himself. And here he is again, and he's appealing for handball there against Christensen, and the referee delayed a little bit and then said no. The assistant was on the very far side, so it was a tough point for the officials to spot, but the appeal from Arnautovic was pretty loud.
Yeah, we can't see whether it hits him on the hand from our angle.
Well, the replay suggests that it does, but...
And you can just tell by Arnautovic's reaction that he's convinced it does.
Well, Arnautovic could have played on there. He wasn't going towards the goal, but he could have played on. I can't see how you say that's deliberate from Christensen. He hadn't got his hands in an unnatural position, had he?
No, he was definitely running. His arm was sort of down in that running position by his side, and as Arnautovic flicked it by him, he hit him on the hand. So
right.
It's a tough one.
Arnautovic was about as close to Christensen as you are to me right now.
Yeah, I mean...
and we're pretty close people at home.
The thing that disappoints you as Arnautovic is you were in. If it doesn't hit him on the hand, I think he was in. That's the problem you have with it. But not much Christensen could do about it.
But he could have played on, and the ball was going towards the dead ball line, but not out. He could have got it and played on. Anyway, that's what happened. Here comes Victor Moses, and actually Alonso's going to be the player replaced. So I guess Zappacosta will switch to the left, and he played there, I think, in the Champions League in midweek, Zappacosta. But Moses is on. Are you surprised Alonso's been hooked off?
Well, I felt the right wing back for Chelsea needed changing. Whether it was Zappacosta or Alonso adds up to the same thing. I think Moses will do a better job against Masuaku.
Let's see if the dynamic on this near side now, the Chelsea right, the West Ham left, changes as a result of that substitution. Can Victor Moses help Chelsea get on the front foot more consistently and null the threat of Masuaku? Ogbonna in there sharply on Morata for West Ham, and up it goes to Antonio. Can't quite collect with the first touch, the high ball up to him. What's David Moyes saying there? He seems to be clenching his fist and
keep going. I think, come on, keep going.
Wants a certain physicality for his team. This would be enormous, not just for the whole club, but particularly for David Moyes, the individual, you feel. He's been a beleaguered manager for so long.
It'll be a fantastic game to get your first win in as West Ham manager at home to Chelsea.
Morata's,
would appreciate that.
They would. Morata's been caught there, maybe 25 to 30 yards out, very centrally. He just spun away, and Obiang reached in a foot and he was late, and he chopped Morata down. Was that a yellow card foul?
Yeah, I think that's a yellow card, that one. It's a dangerous position. And then Morata gets the ball booted at him from close range as well, for good measure from Creswell.
Well, this is definitely a shooting position. Fabregas is eyeing this up. He seems to be the only contender. Adrian is lining up the wall to his left-hand post. So Fabregas, the right side of the goal is covered as he's looking at it. It's just to the right of centre, 25 yards out. Fabregas passes into Moses, who drills it across but straight at Cresswell. Well, it was the double bluff from Chelsea, and Antonio now is bringing it away for West Ham, all the way up the touchline, like a winger in a rugby game, speeding to the try line, but Chelsea got back with Azpilicueta to cut off that particular thrust, and they've got it back again.
Yeah, I mean, that is why Antonio has been selected in front of the others, because he's the only one that can do that.
Here's Azar now inside the West Ham territory, but no ball came across, and Azar saw him coming and thought, I'd rather not have a piece of this. Conte forward now, Fabregas, Morata, wide to Zappacosta on the left-hand side. He's going to go for goal here! And Adrian was diving, and it maybe just went past the post without a touch from the goalkeeper, but it didn't go wide by much.
He gestures to Creswell, Adrian, and it was no problem, and he was comfortable with it. He didn't look very comfortable with it. To me, it was very close to that far post.
And he also, was it Morata who was flying in across the shot, and any little deflection with the head, and the keeper's completely out of the game. Well, there's what Zappacosta can bring from the left-hand side, I suppose. Referee's just writing something on the card. I'm presuming that's Obiang that he's just tidying up the paperwork from. I can't imagine he's booked Adrian for time wasting, at least not yet. Anyway, Premier League Live, it's West Ham 1, Chelsea 0. Arnautovic's goal in the 6th minute of the game. A super team goal it was, and a nice finish from the West Ham player, his first for the club. Somewhat belatedly, many Hammers fans feel, but he's been good today. As has this man, Antonio, dribbling with it into the Chelsea half. One man forward line, Antonio, and he's barrelling still. And was he brought down? Well, he went down, he got up, he kept the ball, and he kept it alive for West Ham. Here's Masuaku, across close to the goalkeeper. And Courtois rolls it out, and actually rolls it out really well to Pedro. Pedro crosses halfway, and he's tackled by Obiang. Well played, Pedro Obiang, who holds off Fabregas. And turns and gets away from Fabregas and goes on, and then leaves it for Lanzini. Lanzini to Masuaku. It is a good game, this, it really is. Chelsea are keeping moving forward as they have to, but West Ham have got a thrust about them too. And right now they don't look like relegation contenders, but hey, there's half an hour to go, and when you haven't won in a long time, things can change quickly, but they look confident for the time being. Here's Obiang in the midfield. Back to Reed in a tight spot on the far touchline, and has he sliced that pass down the line? No, it's staying in play. Zabaleta's second favourite against Zappacosta, the battle of the Zeds. And it's Zabaleta. Well, he looked like he was going to come away with it, but Zappacosta is now on it. Right by the corner flag, they're still battling away. It's between Zappacosta's legs, and the referee says Zabaleta fouled Zappacosta, and it's a Chelsea free kick.
Fair play to the assistant ref there. He let it go a lot longer than I was expecting. They're very quick to give them ones for the little nudges in the back. So we got to enjoy a good 30-second battle there, 1v1.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you buy your ticket to the stadium for exactly that kind of battle, but still, it was a mano-a-mano physical duel, wasn't it?
You don't get to see them very often anymore, do you? So it was nice, a little throwback there.
Well, if people haven't seen you play, Gary, they're getting an idea for the type of character, the type of football that you enjoy here.
Yeah, more of the old school type, mate.
West Ham 1, Chelsea 0. It was a good battle, but here come Chelsea looking to score a goal that's more aesthetically pleasing than that encounter. Moses into the box, can't get away from Masuaku, who's got help now from Arnautovic. Moses has fallen down, but he's still battling, sliding with his feet. And it's going to be a West Ham throw on the near side. Arnautovic doing some good work there. Well, which way is this going to go? West Ham leading Chelsea by 1-0. And Masuaku is going to take this throw on the near side. West Ham have 4 forwards on the bench, remember. Andy Carroll and Hernandez are 2 of those. So West Ham in front, and Masuaku takes the throw in the left-back position. He goes down the line, and nodded back by Chelsea, and actually that'll be a Chelsea throw. It came off a West Ham head last of all. Who's warming up there for Chelsea? And for West Ham, rather. It looks like Andre Ayew, Diafra Sakho are the 2. Maybe they'll be the first names called upon by David Moyes. But the 11 out there are doing a good job at the moment. Chelsea ball inside West Ham territory. Here's Conte. West Ham all back behind the ball. Azpilicueta tries his luck from range. It deflects awkwardly. They took the pace off it, so it looked like it might not reach Adrian for a minute, and gave Morata a sniff, but the keeper got there in the end.
West Ham will be happy with Azpilicueta shooting from that sort of range. I mean, as you see there, the only danger you have is if you get a little bit unlucky and there's a deflection that can cause you a problem.
Well, here comes Arnautovic at the other end. He's got Antonio with him, but just played the pass maybe a little too early, I don't know. And it came through to Courtois. Those 2 have had their chances between them, haven't they?
They have, yeah. The pass wasn't quite on. I saw Arnautovic was trying to do, but it wasn't quite on that one. Needed to keep hold of it a little bit longer.
Zabaleta forced back here for West Ham. Dinks it away down the far touchline. His team are winning 1-0 here. Obiang, super little pass, lifted it over the head of the Chelsea man, and here's Lanzini into Chelsea territory. Now into the centre, Antonio, he can't work it to Arnautovic again. Those 2 need to go on a communication exercise. Here's Masuaku down the left-hand side. Arnautovic is in the box. Masuaku goes past Moses. Can he get the cross in? Moses got back at him, and the keeper couldn't quite keep the ball in. So Masuaku has got a corner for West Ham.
He's covered some ground, hasn't he, Masuaku, up and down that left wing. All the way to the byline again, wins West Ham another opportunity to put the ball in the box.
Well, the home supporters are raising the volume. A second goal here for West Ham would mean the world. 4th corner for the Hammers. Winston Reid, perhaps a target at the back post. Ogbonna is in there as well, so too Antonio. Lanzini takes it high, it's too high. And with the curl on it, it goes out of play. It was unplayable by any of the forwards, or indeed any of the defenders, and David Moyes can't have enjoyed it. Here comes another change for Chelsea. Zappacosta is coming off this time, and Willian is coming on. Any change in formation with this?
You would think so, wouldn't you? I mean, unless he's just going to play Willian as a very attacking left wing back, but I can't see that. So we'll have to see how they line up in the next few moments.
Well, Willian is on. Well, with that late goal, he scored somewhat fortuitously against Liverpool in the 1-1 draw, where the cross went in over the goalkeeper. Chelsea still on the front foot here, but without creating a great volume of chances. They had 2 shots on target in the first half. There's been nothing much to speak of in the second. Adrian's not had to do much today. And West Ham are winning 1-0. Here is Pedro out wide on the left-hand side, trying to cross. It's not a bad ball, but Adrian does have to reach up high for that, and he made a good catch.
Yeah, good save. Good save from Adrian. Looks like Pedro's gone over to that left wing-back space, so much more attacking wing-backs now, which surprised me really that Costa started with the 2 more defensive ones. I didn't really see the reason for that away to West Ham. I would have expected a much more attacking line-up from Conte.
Well, Champions League last midweek. They've got Premier League in midweek coming up. Away to Huddersfield for Chelsea. May merely be a question of rotation.
Yeah, of course, yeah, we don't know what's going on. We don't know if anyone's carrying any deals, or ideally this would be more like the lineup I would have expected.
Here's Arnautovic down the right-hand side. Christensen is the defender, and Christensen's won the throw-in off Arnautovic there. That was another physical tussle right in front of the same assistant referee, Stuart Gert over on the far side. And the Chelsea throw-in is what results. There's 25 minutes left here, and Chelsea are in no great hurry. Now the ball's fallen out of Pedro's hands as he went to take the throw-in. And the West Ham fans are saying, it's got to be a foul throw, you've got to give it to us. And Zabaleta's taken the matter out of the referee's hands. He's come and grabbed the ball and said, I'm going to take it, it's ours. But the refs have said, no, it wasn't an attempted throw in, it just slipped. I mean, we're looking at the replay.
So it's not one you see very often, so it's a tough one. It looked like he went to throw it and then changed his mind and it slipped.
West Ham have won it back anyway. Maybe some poetic justice. Lanzini's got it by the touchline on the far side. Zabaleta nods it forward. Cleared by Fabregas, and now Morata trying to hold it up, and actually he's done a good job here, and Reed has brought him down quite deliberately to stop the counter-attack, and Reed gets a yellow card. And I would agree with that decision.
Definitely a yellow card, yeah. Reed knew what he was doing there, just knew that West Ham were out of shape, tried to stop the counter-attack. Morata did really well actually to spin him, was just about to play Moses in, so probably a good foul from Winston Reed.
Yeah, that was the kind of strong physical forward play from Alvaro Morata that I accused him of not delivering in the first half. The free kick is only way deep in Chelsea territory, so no danger from it, but they've come forward down the right hand side, and Willian's got away from Cresswell here, and Cresswell's brought him down just outside the right edge of the box, and again the referee doesn't hesitate, reaches straight for the pocket and gets out the yellow card. That was a bit of a panic foul from Cresswell.
Yeah, realised he made the mistake, hadn't dealt with the first danger, and then decided that fouling him was the best option. No attempt to play the ball, just booted Willian to try and make sure he fouled him before he got to that penalty area.
Well, the free kick is only 5 yards from the dead ball line. Fabregas is going to take it, so with the right foot he's never going to score from there, so it'll be a cross of some description unless they can work some kind of routine and get somebody free on the edge of the box. There are 4 in the centre for Chelsea, 5 with Moses on the penalty spot, Willian's on the near corner of the box. West Ham have to be smart here. Here comes Fabregas' ball, it's a good ball, it's come through to Christensen who shoots, and well blocked by Reed, who flew out from the edge of the 6-yard box. Hazard on the far side though has collected the ball, he crosses, and Christensen missed the header again, back in for a second time on Bonner up in the air, and Adrian claims it for West Ham. Just a feeling that West Ham are holding on a little bit with a quarter of the match still to go.
Yeah, it feels like there's 80 minutes gone, and you look up and there's only 68, so there's a long way to go for West Ham.
Have you had that feeling a few times as a player?
Yeah, sometimes worse than that as well, before half time occasionally.
That can't be nice. Well, the good thing from West Ham's perspective is that, again, that outlet on the break, they have been able to relieve the pressure, haven't they, from time to time. Here's a West Ham change. Chelsea have already played all 3 of their cards, but it's Arnautovic who's coming off, and he's going to be replaced by Diafra-Sakho. Well, Arnautovic is finally off the mark for West Ham, and well might the home supporters applaud him warmly. He feels like he owes them a few, I think, by now, Arnautovic. But that was a super goal today.
Yeah, good afternoon's work there from Arnautovic. That's more than what they would expect to get for the money they've paid, and from what he used to do at Stoke.
His 14th game for West Ham, and he scored today in the 6th minute, and it's still the only goal. Will it be the winning goal at the end of the 90 minutes and more? Chelsea playing it out from the back. Here's Conte, and he's got away from Obiang, who's brought him down. Well, I thought Obiang was on a yellow card, but he can't have been. I mean, he'd committed one yellow card foul, a clear one before this, and for my money, that could really be a red card for Obiang. But that's his first yellow. He's lucky, I think.
Yeah, the one earlier was definitely a yellow, as you said.
Cahill trying to shoot from range here, deflects into the arms of Adrian. Yeah, I mean, he's committed 2 yellow card fouls in the second half, Obiang.
The only argument you can have is he probably wouldn't have committed the second one if he'd have got a yellow for the first one. So they are running out of players at the moment who can commit them fouls to stop the counter-attack. Yeah. There's a few on a yellow now.
Arnautovic was one, he's gone off. Obiang, Reed and Cresswell are on yellow cards. On my notepad here, Alonso had one for Chelsea, but he's subsequently gone off, so they haven't got anybody on the booking at the moment. David, by the way, I think you're in America, aren't you, David, somewhere? He's enjoying the commentary, and he enjoyed Masuaku looking like Maradona, but David's son, who's got his learner's license, is still driving. So hashtag white knuckles, says David. Well done both of you. You're hanging in there. Here's Morata for Chelsea. We're still trying. 1-0 down. Tries to find Moses with a forward pass. Wins a throw in on the near side. West Ham is still tough to break down. Joe Eli listening on a snowy morning in Indiana. He's hoping the Hammers can hold on. Enjoying the fact that all the matches this weekend, and indeed every weekend, are available worldwide. They certainly are. Joe on Premier League Live here. 3 o'clock featured game today, Spurs against Stoke. That's in, what, an hour from now exactly. Adam Bridge, our commentator, preparing backstage for that one with Gary O'Reilly. Here is Conte for Chelsea, 35 yards from goal. Again, all the West Ham players, even Sacco who's come on, are getting back in there to defend. And Chelsea trying to manoeuvre it round into wide positions to try and find somebody in space, but Azar, who's on the ball now, has had none of it today. He's not been influential. Wide it goes to Moses on this near side. Masuaku's in front of him. Moses whips him across, good cross. Header out by Ogbono was a decent one. Further away Zabaleta, but it's coming back. Here's Pedro. Was Azar offside there? There was an appeal, but no. Azar's just tiptoeing into the box, goes to the byline, pulls it in low. Reed is there, and away by West Ham.
Just so many West Ham shirts between him and the goal, and they're so compact as well, no space between them. So you can hear the West Ham fans screaming at the team to get up, but they just leave too many spaces in between. They're doing the right thing at the moment and stand as close together as they can.
Chelsea have lost the London derby against Crystal Palace this season that they were not expected to lose. Are they going to lose a derby match here against West Ham that most of us had marked down as an away win beforehand? Maybe Chelsea can get back on terms here, or even better. It's all on the line still with 18 minutes to go. And West Ham are looking to counter with Antonio, but Moses just got back. I wonder if Antonio's running out of gas. Here's Willian attacking for Chelsea. He's got Conte in front of him. He sought out Azar instead. Good work defensively by Lanzini on the edge of the box. Noble now finds Antonio, who's been pushed into a more wide position since Sacco came on for West Ham. Antonio looks knackered to me.
Yeah, he looks tired. You did call it earlier, didn't you? You said how long will he last? I thought he'd do slightly longer than he has, but David Moyes will be looking at that, I would think.
Noble forward to Sacco. Was he offside? Chelsea appealed, not to give him. Sacco holds it up for a short while, brings it back to Masuaku. Here is Lanzini joining in. Antonio's nowhere to be seen. I think he's just waiting for the hook to come out. Here's Masuaku forward to Sacco. Sacco a corner of the box. Conte got in there. Chelsea were a bit hesitant about clearing it. Courtois said that's not close enough to me, and so Cahill had to deal with it. Up towards halfway. Here is Antonio. He's waiting near the manager to come off, I'm sure, but he's on the ball now. Helps it back to Cresswell. He's filling in basically as a left back for the time being, Antonio, but he can barely move. Here's Ogbono forward down the centre towards Sacco, just throwing up a Hail Mary, relieving some pressure. Christensen dealt with it well for Chelsea. He looks older than 21, Christensen, doesn't he?
Yeah, looks experienced as well. You can tell he's played some football at a higher level. Very accomplished back there.
Azar now for Chelsea, into the West Ham half. Forward to Morata, holds off Obiang, turns, but can't go forward. Back to Fabregas, wide to Pedro on the left. The West Ham lines are so clear. They're getting people around the ball so quickly. Chelsea wide to Pedro again. There's just no option in the box for Chelsea. They're having to come round the box all the time. I'll repeat it, it's the U-shaped passing. Azar though takes it and gets away from Obiang. He's into the box, he drives it in low and it ricochets and it will be a corner to Chelsea. He's still the man that can unlock the door.
He is, yeah. You can see Chelsea passing sideways until they find the opportunity to get it into Hazard. Then things open up. He commits people.
1-0 West Ham, but a Chelsea corner. Fabregas takes, should be Adrian's ball. It was, and then he dropped it, and he dropped it because Morata banged into him, and it's a foul. Just looking at the replay now. Yeah. Adrian was in front of Morata, wasn't he?
Yeah, definite foul. I mean, the corner's too close to Adrian, really. Gave the Chelsea attackers no chance to really get on the end of it.
Rexford Amakie has been in touch from Ghana. At TalkSport Live on Twitter, Rexford says there should be more urgency in Chelsea's play. this game must be won at all costs. I guess when Man City are winning every single game, you know, even if you draw, you drop 2 points, don't you? But on the point of urgency,
yeah, that's what I felt in the first half and in parts of this second half. They just looked like that they weren't that keen to get going, that it wasn't the be-all and end-all. But I mean, it's going to get to a point now where it gets too late for them.
Antonio's woken up. He nearly played in a ball there for Sarko, and I say woken up with the greatest possible respect. He's been terrific today, Antonio, and if he is tired, it's because he's run himself into the ground. But he just had a little breather, and he seems to have found some energy from somewhere. West Ham have it at the back. Chelsea are trying to put them under pressure. West Ham down the near touchline to Masuaku, trying to twinkle those toes away from Conte, but Conte won it back for Chelsea, forward to Azar, but in the air, and Winston Reid came over the top of the Belgian and won it back for West Ham. Cleared up to Sako, it rather bounced off him, and it's come out of play on the near side. It's going to be a Chelsea ball. David Moyes is out there, he's got his hands in his pockets. Antonio finally, I think, has given up the ghost. He's gone down with a slight concern that he grabbed at his left knee there, but, well, who... Mark Noble, he's looking over Antonio. Antonio is lying flat out on his back on the grass with his hands behind his head, and Noble came over and had a word with him and put his boot on his tummy as he was doing so.
Well, Noble's tried to play him a ball, and Antonio wasn't looking, was stood there having a chat with David Moyes, and the ball rolled out of play. So definitely time for a change for Antonio. He's worked very. Hopefully he's not injured, because West Ham are going to need him. Hopefully that's just fatigue he's laying down with.
He's missed a few games this season, hasn't he, Antonio, with a few muscular injuries. He's just having that left leg stretched out a bit.
Yeah, that left hamstring again. I think that's the one he's been having problems with.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's a measure of how important he's been to West Ham today, but frankly they've left it this long, because for a few minutes now, and he just had a burst a minute ago when he looked like there was nothing in the tank. Now, I guess when you're in that red zone is when you can do yourself a mischief.
Of course, yeah, when you're starting to get out of the comfort zone and when muscles are starting to tire, especially when you've had injuries in the area recently, it will be a definite red flag to the physio team and the fitness guys on the bench there. Andre
Ayew is on for West Ham to replace Michail Antonio for 12 minutes. Can Ayew put in the level of industry that Antonio provided? Well, he's immediately won the ball here for West Ham with an interception on this left side. That's where he's filling in for Antonio, and then Noble, helping out Ayew, has won a free kick. He's always industrious, Mark Noble. Ayew has scored 11 goals for West Ham, but only 2 of them have come at the London Stadium. What they'd all give for a third from the Ghanaian here. West Ham leading Chelsea by 1-0, but the game is not won yet. Albeit Chelsea have created so few chances in this game. I mean, the shots on target that they've had have been really edge of the box or outside, haven't they?
Yeah.
There's been nothing of a clear nature.
And massive credit has to go to David Moyes. I mean, I covered the West Ham game when they played Liverpool here. And they were so open and so disorganised, and to go from that, which was only a few weeks ago, to this against the Chelsea side is a fantastic turnaround.
Here's Willian. Chelsea are trying to counter here. West Ham getting a little caught high up the field, but Lanzini got back quickly for West Ham. I mean, he's a creative player, but he's doing dirty work for West Ham. Although Sako was caught offside as they tried to spring back in the other direction. Conte's barking instructions. We're coming towards the last 10 minutes. He looks like a wild man on the touchline. Well, I think the Chelsea players are going to get a telling off, shall we say, at the end here, if they can't come from behind against West Ham. But it's an organised West Ham. It's something to believe in for the West Ham faithful. You can see the fruits of the coaching that Moyes and his team have put into his players here. But the game plan has been detailed, it has been communicated, and it has been enacted by the Hammers. And of course the early goal from Arnautovic in the 6th minute has only helped in that regard. West Ham have a throw here. They're inside Chelsea territory on Premier League Live. Don't forget, Tottenham Stoke is our featured game at 3 o'clock with all the goals from the other games, and you can hear the other games in full via broadcast partners, depending where you are in the world. At 5:30, Newcastle Leicester. And then tomorrow, 3 sensational games, but 2 in particular. The 2 derbies, Liverpool Everton at 2:15 and Man United Man City at 4:30. Here come Chelsea. They're inside the West Ham half, but again, West Ham are all back there in the numbers, crowding around the ball, crowding around Azar, and Zabaleta wins it and plays it up to Sako, and he's got support from Andre Ayew. Ayew in space down the left-hand side, elects to hit a weird pass first time towards Sako, and Ayew is feeling his right hamstring. He's just come on. He's not going to last the rest of the game. That was bizarre. Willian forward towards Pedro. He can't get the ball through. It's come back to Willian on the edge of the box. What's Willian's option here? Wide to Azar on the left. Zabaleta makes another good tackle. Well, is he going to try and run the ball out of defence himself? He's not got the legs maybe, so he clips it down the line and asks Sako to do it for him. And the back pass from Cahill to Courtois.
How many subs have West Ham made? Have they made
2 so far, Sako and Ayew, yeah.
Well, I think Ayew's was more in embarrassment at the state of the pass, I would guess.
Oh dear. Azar wide on the left-hand side. Back it goes to Fabregas. 10 yards outside the box. Again, the West Ham players are all between him and the goal. Conte, they can't find a way through. They can't find a channel. Azar's looking for one. Conte now, quick feet, away from 2, finds Morata, dinks it back towards Conte, throws himself down under the challenge of Ogbonna. Yeah, there was contact, but it wasn't a foul. And West Ham clear, but it is coming back this time. Fabregas into Conte, brilliant first touch, and the slip ball. Morata's in! Oh! He's blasted it wide. He hit it so purely. It felt like the net was certain to bulge, but it didn't, and West Ham survive.
That was the moment for Chelsea, the first time they've managed to cut West Ham open in this 83 minutes. You expect Morata to tuck that away.
Oh, he went near post, Morata, and it just flicked the side netting on the way through. Masuaku, by the way, at left back, was playing him on by a couple of yards.
Yeah, that was what I was told before, that defensively he's not the most aware of where he is and where he should be. So better off slightly higher up the pitch, Masuaku, I think.
Sako trying to get West Ham moving forward and trying to relieve the pressure, but Chelsea got a free kick coming here inside their own half. Yeah, I mean, Masuaku has had moments of the highest calibre and the highest entertainment value today going forward. Some ridiculous and you know, internet breaking skill at times, but defensively there he was asleep on the job, and it nearly cost West Ham, who are still 1-0 in front here on Premier League Live. Conte is doing as much as anybody here to get Chelsea going in a forward direction. And here's Azar, and his shot goes over the top. That was Conte into Morata, and the immediate layoff to Azar. And those are 2 chances in the last 90 seconds, perhaps better than anything else Chelsea have created all game.
Yeah, some real warning signs now for West Ham. Chelsea managing to get in that little space in front of the back 4, getting shots off. So it could be an interesting last 7 minutes. Well, maybe not for West Ham fans, but for neutrals and Chelsea fans, this could be an interesting end to the game.
Are we not seeing N'Golo Conte here, though, specifically in an attacking role, driving the team forward? I mean, you know, playing cute passes, you know, showing the excellence of his first touch around the edge of the penalty box.
Yeah, in both instances there, he took the ball in sort of a number 10 position where you'd expect to see the Hazards and the Fabregases, and his touch has been good enough, his control's been tight, he's found the right passes, so definitely showing the other side to his game.
Well, that's why I guess he was voted in the top 10, wasn't he, in this week in the Ballon d'Or Awards. I think Antonio Conte, his boss, said he would be his World Player of the Year. Whether anybody in that position ever wins it, Conte was questioning. But I'm sure Gary O'Neill would agree that players in that position sometimes get overlooked for the work they do for their teams.
You get through a lot of work in there. Sometimes you don't get the credit you deserve. Conte does.
Here's Conte on the edge of the box. He's trying to dink one through again, but Noble and Ayew did a good job, and Ayew's hamstring seems to be okay for the time being, although He's lost it to Moses, and Moses gets it forward to Willian. Back to Moses. Noble came in. Moses rode one tackle. Willian into the box. Lays it back to Fabregas. Checks onto his right foot. Then back heels it as Piliqueta lifts it in. Is Morata onside? It won't matter. It's gone beyond him anyway. And the flag was up against Alvaro Morata. Moses is still down. There might have been a case for a Chelsea free kick there.
I think he played advantage, didn't he? Chelsea's still in a decent position. You can see just how difficult it is for Chelsea, can't you? Their passing has to be so precise, the spaces are so small.
Testament to the West Ham organisation that throughout this game they have been diligent and they have been thoughtful and they have been concentrated and they have been accurate, and really almost at no time. The Morata chance is the one example where Chelsea did get through. Now what's happened here? Stuart Pearce has been to the touchline. David Moyes is assistant manager and he's made his way back to the seats. He's obviously delivered a message that the West Ham fans appreciated on the touchline. He's not a man known for holding back, Stuart Pearce.
No, unfortunately we missed that. I'd like to have seen what Stuart Pearce was doing there.
Well, West Ham have got a throw in. Willian is handing the ball to Artur Masuaku and is saying to him directly, I think you should take it and I think you should get on with the game. And the referee has agreed and he's walked up to Masuaku and said, you are taking too long, you receive a yellow card. Here's a replay of what Stuart Pearce did. He's come running out. Oh, I see what he's done. He came running out to the edge of the touchline to deliver a message, and the ball came over. And he swung that famous left boot at it and whacked it back towards the crowd to get it away.
Somewhere in Westfield Shopping Centre, that ball now.
If you never saw Stuart Pearce play, then that left boot was as fearsome as any boot in world football for a spell. Here's Willian for Chelsea. They've got 2.5 minutes to get on terms here or more. He crosses, but it's away by Cresswell, who's been good as part of the West Ham back five today. Sort of left-sided central defender, Cresswell. And again, it's Chelsea ball, but it's Chelsea ball a long way from goal. And the West Ham defenders still diligent. Here's Morata, a flick through the corner for Fabregas. It's cleared into a wide position. In by Pedro to Fabregas on the edge. His touch lets him down. And West Ham get it away. Sacco is after it, but he's second favourite. Cahill wins it, gets it to Christensen. I think it's going to be bombardment for the last 2 minutes. Stand by for a grandstand finish here. Here comes Azpilicueta. The through ball from Morata is cut out and cleared by West Ham. But there's nobody up near halfway. Cahill's going to take a throw in. Azpilicueta collects it. 90 seconds left. 1-0 West Ham here on Premier League Live. Can West Ham win their first game under David Moyes? And their first game in the Premier League since September. Moses down the right-hand side for Chelsea. Pulls it back towards Willian. Moses wants another free kick. He's not getting one. And Masuaku brings it clear for West Ham, but he's running out of gas a bit now. And Chelsea got back more quickly than he could get forward. And Masuaku is now holding his left hamstring. Well, West Ham are playing again in midweek, against Arsenal. Might run out of players the way things are going. Fabregas with a poor through ball there to Moses on the turn. And he's distraught with himself, Fabregas, because that's the kind of pass he regularly makes.
It was a great chance for him. It wasn't that difficult, that pass, just had to weight it better. There was a big space there for once for Moses to run into. So he'll be very disappointed with that, Fabregas.
Last minute of the 90. West Ham fire it up to Sacco, who flicks it on. There's nobody running in behind him. Nobody's got the energy. No petrol left in the tank. The job now is all about defending for West Ham. Can they hang on? Can they do it? Forward it goes from Chelsea, but poorly really towards Azar. I raced this week to get Azar into my fantasy team, I'll admit it now. I thought he was going to have a field day today. It's been nothing of the sort.
No, they just didn't seem to show the urgency early enough, Chelsea, and now it's all got too desperate and too late.
West Ham clear it up towards Sacco. He's begging for a free kick for the challenge by Cahill, I think it was, but 5 minutes. 5 minutes has been held up by Graham Scott, the fourth official. Well, that's a lot. And it's a long time for West Ham to hang on. But again, there haven't been too many moments when Chelsea have broken through, and they're still struggling to string the passes together, certainly in the central positions. West Ham, though, are just hacking it away at the moment, and it's coming back more swiftly than it has done at any point in the match. Conte on the ball, left of centre, forward to Pedro, wide to Azpilicueta. He's going to cross it in with the right boot from wide left. No, he goes down the line to Azar. Azar comes away from goal. He's looking for something, Azar. He floats it into the centre for Christensen. But West Ham are still in there, in that tight block in the middle of the field. Chelsea can't break through it. Here's Willian to Azar. Little spin on the ball. He pokes it into Conte. Conte turn, well played off Bonner. Super challenge. Conte looking for the kind of turn that can bring about a chance or a penalty. Got neither. And again, West Ham clear, but Sacco can't get hold of it. It's going to come back again. Arnautovic's goal in the 6th minute is still the difference. Must be unbearable for West Ham fans right now. Can they hang on? I don't suppose for Chelsea fans it's any more pleasant. They're desperate for a goal. But with the Manchester clubs playing this weekend and somebody bound to lose points, Chelsea are not going to take advantage at the moment. And their unbeaten run is ending here. They lost to Palace mid-October, and they're going to lose to West Ham as things stands at the start of December. Here's Conte down the left-hand side, dinks it in. Pedro's cross towards Morata, away on Bonner again. Comes to Fabregas, whose shot is over the bar. And over the bar by some distance. And another chance for Chelsea disappears. There are 3 minutes of added time minimum still remaining. Gary O'Neill, what's going to happen here?
Looks like West Ham are going to hang on, doesn't it? I mean, that came from Kante again, making a rounding behind, penetrating West Ham defence. But comfortable, really. Fabregas shooting when he wasn't really set. Good 25 yards out, the ball bouncing. So West Ham will take that for the next 2 minutes.
Well, it's 9 games in all competitions without a clean sheet for West Ham. What a day this would be to get one. Their 4th it would be in 16 in the Premier League. And against the Chelsea side with such firepower on an average day. 93 minutes on the watch. Here's Conte coming forward. He's got the ball to Azar. West Ham staying really central here. Space in wide areas, so Chelsea move it to Moses. Moses immediately crowded down though. Ayew comes in to help Masuaku, and Ayew wins the ball cleanly and comes away with it. And then lifts it down the line towards Sacco. Christensen took up an excellent position though and just snaffled it, moved it quickly on, and Chelsea have made space down the left-hand side. Azpilicueta crosses towards Conte, who's in there as centre forward. Pedro brings it down. Zabaleta whacks it away. Christensen collects it again inside the West Ham half. The only person in the Chelsea half is Courtois. Here's Azpilicueta again. He crosses. Morata's up, but it's over him. Adrian collects it, and that might be enough for West Ham. We're heading towards 94 minutes now. And David Moyes is saying to his team, 1 minute more. I think Gary O'Neill is speechless.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe what we've seen. I mean, for West Ham to turn it around in a game like this, I mean, there were signs at Man City, but I don't think anyone really believed they could turn it around enough to beat Chelsea today.
Well, their 2 Premier League wins so far this season have been against Huddersfield and against Swansea. This is a different league. 30 seconds of the 5 minutes to go, and the ball is in the Chelsea right back position. And Chelsea are struggling to get hold of the ball here. 1 or 2 fans are keeping hold of it. Referee might be adding on a few more seconds. Moses goes down the line with the throw-in. Chelsea have won another one, but they're still not out of their own half. Willian takes that, look like a foul throw. It was! Willian can't believe it, but I mean, that was daft. West Ham have got the throw-in. They're going to take all day about it. And the 95 minutes are up. And West Ham are going to beat Chelsea here. The whistle's gone! David Moyes has a first win as West Ham manager. Who saw this coming? They've beaten Chelsea. They've turned it round, and this could change a whole season for West Ham United. Arnautovic's goal in the 6th minute. Chelsea kept out. They barely had a chance worth the name all game. And the London Stadium is a different place altogether. West Ham United 1, Chelsea 0 is the final score, and this was the moment that has earned West Ham 3 priceless points. Here's Zabaleta for West Ham, neatly finding Antonio and into Arnautovic on the edge of the penalty box. Lanzini back to Arnautovic, he's inside the box! There is his first goal for West Ham! Arnautovic took it beautifully, he curled it low past Courtois. Maybe a more hopeful goal than West Ham have scored at any point this season. They take the lead against Chelsea. It's West Ham 1, Chelsea 0.
Fantastic goal, some fantastic build-up as well. You see Lanzini and Arnautovic, the 2 key players linking up well, and it's a fantastic finish with his left foot.
Yeah, fantastic team goal, fantastic finish from Arnautovic, a goal worthy of winning any game. But at the time, I described it as hopeful. It felt no more than that. Now, Gary O'Neill, what does it mean for West Ham? What does this mean for the season as a whole?
It's the type of win and the type of performance that can change your whole season. You know, you go into this one, you're not sure where your next win's coming from. You've got a very tough set of games. You win this and it starts to change things. You start to look at Arsenal and think, well, if we can do what we've done today, maybe we'll get something there as well.